Hey guys, this is take two of a video about gearboxes. I'd sort of been on the fence about doing a gearbox video because I don't know, it just seemed like a kind of mediocre topic. My main motive for actually doing it at this point is the games Snowrunner and the Expeditions, which is another sort of SnowRunner game. The issue with that game is that the gearboxes are absolutely horrible. They can barely shift out of first gear. They just they're trash. They shift too early. They shift too slowly. Okay, well maybe that's a simulation issue, but I don't know of a transmission that takes that long to actually complete a shift, so long that it can't maintain power. So what I have here are two old 2500. This is an old save, and my previous take I had issues with the truck. I had swapped the truck out to get a fresh truck. So we have 5,000 units of weight behind this tiny little truck with two small engines. It has a 4-speed transmission, just a fairly tall gears because it's a truck, but nothing special going on. I'm going to release the brake right now. See if I can get this thing going. I'm going to try to get it. As you can see, we're in first gear, turning about 700 RPM, and getting at 28 kilometers an hour. Now, alright, the transmission just shifted to second as we continue to accelerate. We are going up a hill. Pulling all that weight up a hill, no problem for two small engines and a good transmission. And now that we've reached somewhat level ground here, we can take off now in third gear at 65 kilometers an hour. And even though we're having a little bit of a control issue with the steering, we have no trouble. We have plenty of power, and can now in fourth gear, barely holding fourth gear. It's going to fall out of fourth gear because it's just a little bit too short for the load we have right now in the terrain. But all right, now it dropped back into third gear, and it can accelerate like hell. And in fourth gear, which it can't hold. But since the shifting is almost instantaneous, it just the net effect is it's a cruise control. So there we go. Sort of had a little bit of a turn there, so I slowed down a little bit. But as you can see, two small engines could do this all day. Basically, the only limitation is my fuel, and as you can see, my fuel is slowly ticking down there to 681 liters. That's my fuel. So do anything I want with this. We'll just complete the circuit around Donk Island here and take a look at some example trucks which I made. Now, I've had issues with the save file, and these example trucks may or may not actually function because the game is glitched out. I can't even despawn them I had trouble despawning this, but so I'd have to actually, if I have trouble with one of the trucks, I'll have to use this thing to tow it into the garage, and then swap it out with a fresh truck. I did steal the dashboard module from Workshop. You can be as I'm driving around here, you can look at the dashboard to actually see what my transmission is doing. The 3 there represents the gear that I'm in, so I'm in 3rd gear at the moment, and then the other characteristics of what I'm actually doing here. Now the road gets really, really steep here, so I'll get out and take a look at what's going on here. A little steering issue with the I'm using analog controls, and as you can see, you probably what are you doing, transmission? Alright, let's see if I can start out in 1st gear on this. Yeah, I can't start out at all. Huh. That's odd. I can stop, but I can't. Interesting result. How was I climbing the hill before if I can't even start out on in 1st gear here? As you can see, I'm limited mostly by my tires and not by my I think the gearing on the bottom here is at least, I think it's 6-to-1 is the top on the gearing, 3-to-1 is the 2nd gearing, and 2-to-1 is the 3rd gearing, and then direct drive is the 4th gearing. The trailers have their own brakes, so I shouldn't jackknife if I slow down even on this absurd decline here. See all the axles brake, so that's no issue on that. Alright, apply the brakes. Turn off the ignition. Get out. I don't know whether these cars are any good. I don't remember why I brought these out. I think I was making some point or other. I think one of these had like gearboxes all the way across there. And it's a really crazy design. These trucks are arrayed based on the number of gears they have. Like if you crawl under this one, all right, it's got a clutch and and another. Well, you can't really see from this side. Wind's been blowing these suckers around. Yeah, it's this one I think only has a single forward gear and a reverser, so we'll just fire it up and see whether it moves. So there's no. I think I took out the parking, so it still has a reverser, so I can still kick the thing into reverse, but it has only one gear. So as you can see, the RPM just goes up to maximum as the thing accelerates. But having only one gear means it doesn't have very much leverage to go up a hill. I take it up a hill and it'll start to... Is this really the one-speed version? Alright. Yeah, it's... yeah, as you can see, it can't start up the hill. It just done... because it only has one gear, it has very little torque on the bottom and not very much top speed on the top. So, as you can see, it can't start up the hill. It'll just stall the engine. And then I'd have to roll it all the way back down to get it moving again. Yeah, see engine. So you see, apply the brakes, it releases the clutch, the engine can start, and then when I try to move forward, it immediately stalls because it tries to rev the engine, which will engage the clutch, which basically brakes it at that, which then immediately stalls the engine. See there, I overpowered it, so. Steering's a little... yeah, I'm steering it by keyboard. That's why the steering's done a little wonky. See, if I go into gamepad mode, it's a little better. What are you doing, engine? I don't know what this thing's doing. Because this is an old save, I can't even recall the truck, so I'm just gonna have to abandon it and go back here. Yeah, I got no choice but to abandon it. Let's take a look at the thing. Let's just play around with some stuff. Now this is the exact version of the truck we were just in. As you can see, the gearbox is big. Let's see. It just has a 3:2. That's the only ratio it has. It has no controller on that gearbox. So it's just a 3:2 reduction, and that's it. It does have a a second classic gearbox back here, which is just the reverser. The reverser will be the same on all the trucks. And then all the controllers are in here. These are just I don't know what that is. Yeah, that's the steering box, that's the throttle box, and that's the clutch. And there's nothing else. Now what we can do here, if you want to have fun with this, let's load a... this is a park reverse neutral drive controller. I on my workshop I say don't use this controller, but it's perfectly usable. It works exactly as advertised, and the as you can see, the logic. Now let's see the logic mode here is it's not that bad. It's just, let's see, what does it have here? So it controls the clutch. It has an output which shows you where the gear where the control is, and then it has the transmission override. So if there is a transmission box in here, it can say, okay, if I want first gear, I want second gear, and that's all it has. Now the gear select, so it has an up and down. Let's see, the 10 is up, 11 is down, and then the gear state goes, let's see, the direct number, so the numeric output is on the first channel, and then it has some binary channels. Okay, that's that. And so let's see if we can find that in there. Find that in here. Now, once again, this truck has no transmission. It's just just a forward box. We'll remove the auto clutch. Now the logic. Let's see what inputs do we need. We're not using that because we have no transmission. We do need the clutch. We do need the on a reverser. Now the reverser is going to be by controller instead of that thing, so the reverse button is bye-bye. Let's see, what else do we have in here? The parking brake. Now we'll apply the parking brake to all our... Okay, I've got all 4 parking brakes involved. Let's see, the transmission override again, not using. The brake signal, let's see, the brake signal comes from our throttle, our brake. Okay, there's our brake signal. It needs to know the engine RPM to operate the clutch. So we have our clutch there. Now comes the tricky part. We need a controller to control the thing. Let's see. The instrument panel, yeah, that's what it's called on this game. Let's see, well, we're going to put that... Well, this is just a temporary build, so I'll just put this over here. Yeah. Instrument 1 will be a arrow button up, push button, channel out 10. Instrument 3 will be a button, push button arrow button down. $11, and then instrument 2 will be a 7 segment. See, now to wire it up, we will use we'll just get electric from our nearest instrument there. Make sure the network data, I want the purple wires connected there, there. Okay, let's see what we've got here. All right, let me turn the power on. We're in park, reverse, neutral, drive, and away we go. All right, let's make sure our reverse works. And reverse works. And neutral drive to 1. Park. So that's that. That's if you want park reverse neutral drive, that's the controller to use. It's dead easy. Took only a couple minutes. Took only a minute or two to put it in there. So happy with that. Alright, this truck has 2 gears, 2 forward gears, a high gear and a low gear. The ratios are based off of the Power Glide. The Power Glide is a famous transmission that was used a lot in the 1960s, and it's still used in race cars. A lot of race cars still use Power Glide transmissions because they can take a lot of power, and they don't spend a lot of time shifting. It's just 2 forward gears and a really beefy torque converter, and that's all you need to run a Power Glide. And all right, let's do our starting on that cold start on a steep slope, and this truck can do it. It's got a little bit taller. It's got a little bit shorter gear on the first gear. It's a 1.8 to 1 instead of a 1.5 to 1. So that change alone is enough to make it and then get it to start on a hill like that. The other truck is still up here, but get around. Stupid thing. Wish I'd fix the goddamn terrain here. Well, I'm gonna have to drive this all the way back to the shed, just so we can take a look at what's actually in here. See if I can do that without flipping the thing. It's a little top heavy. Original design was by Donk, very early in the game's history, and all my vehicle systems were developed on this platform, and basically all the controllers I use on everything that rolls, I developed on this chassis here, and everything still works. So steep hill. correct gear going down here. Alright, now let's take a look at this thing. Right here, again, we only have one gearbox. As you can see, the ratio off is a little bit gentler than the, a little bit shorter than the other one. So on the logic level, we have, I think that's tall. I mean, a higher ratio is taller. So that's a taller gear than the other one. But we have the ability to switch that gear. And in order to switch the gear, I have just this little tiny controller here. Let's take a look at it. All right, whenever the engine hits 15 RPS, it shifts up. And when it falls below 3.75 RPS, it shifts down. Maybe I'd tweak that to 4, but I mean, it's working. And so the logic here, I am using, that's my entire controller. I'm using an SR flip-flop, and that's the entire controller. It just uses that and straight out. The input I need is the engine RPS, and then the upshift, lower, downshift, greater than, less than, and that's all it needs. And it works better than any truck in Snowrunner or an equivalent. I think they use the same code in Expeditions, and of course it cleans the clock of everything in Expeditions too. And so, screw you, Snowrunner. So this is a working system. It's just fine. And spawn it back in. Let's take a look at it as a on the drag strip. Let's just take the thing out, and then just I think the brake's on. Yeah, the brake. Yeah. Take the brake off. Get it out on the strip. Pull up to the starting line. And let's go. See that? Now we're in the high gear. So let's see there and so it stumbles a little bit, it stutters a little bit coming off the line, and then it starts flying, and then it upshifts, and then it's off to the races. So let's watch that again. All right, it shifts. And then away we go, and it's popping wheelies. Wheelie, woohoo! Anyway, goodbye, truck. Yeah, I should see if we can take a look at the engine in here. It's just a standard medium engine, and it's nothing out of the ordinary about the engine. It's just the way it is. All right, this is another standard truck. Once again, it's let's just pop the hood, see what's under there. let's see if I can get up there. Pushing the damn thing backwards. Let's see. Put on the brake. Yeah, on these more complex trucks, it has these little lights here, which show the actual signal going to the gearbox. So as the gears shift, you can see a little bit more complexity as we move up to more advanced trucks. Yeah. I don't know whether I'll be able to get that thing close. Yeah, I think that's the controller for the hood. Okay, yeah, just standard engine. Let's see, parking brake off. Let's get this on the road. Now, let's see, we're in first gear. See, all right, now we just shifted. So we have one light on now, so one of our gearboxes is shifted. So we are in second gear. Let's see if we can get this moving again. That's second. The problem is I don't have much space here to get it into third gear. And third gear is going way damn fast. So yeah, man, I can't. No way to recover. Let's see. See if I can do a door recover. Yeah, no such luck. Door recover with squat and bun. Yeah, nasty truck. I can't recover it either because, again, so I'll just assume that I had. Yeah, as you can see, that all the trucks are named really stupid things. So I could just 1-speed version, 2-speed version, 3. So down here we have a 3-speed on a controller, 2 identical gearboxes, both 1.5 to 1, 1.5 to 1. Now these are the initial ratios. The initial ratio is 3 to 2, and then we have 3 to 2. So you multiply that together, that's like 2.25 to 1 instead of on a on the 2-speed version is 1.8 to 1, 1 to 1. This machine, it's 2.25 to 1, 1.5 to 1, and then 1 to 1. And the controller is just, it's got more to it. I mean, it's got a controller. It reads the ignition. So if the ignition is, if you turn it off, it resets the counter, which just make sure the thing never glitches out. Like if it glitches out, turn it off, turn it back on, it's reset. So up down counter, we're counting from 0 to 2, so 0, 1, 2, and then we go over here, and then we have we call. I have this convention like the gearbox with the lower ratio, and then the higher ratio. In this situation, they're just gearbox 1, gearbox 2. They're both the same, and the final result is 3 gears. So it will. So it just does a very, very basic threshold to turn those on and off. So 0, off, off, 1, on, off, 2, on. Now let's have fun with this. Let's exit out of here. Let's delete the gearbox. Now, what we're going to do is find a, let's see, should be a, G drive, yeah, let's try this advanced 3-speed shifter to see what this sucker can do. Now let's plug all this in. And let's see the HR, and we don't care about HR and LR, so we'll do that. And then we'll also connect that and that, so we'll still be able to read the gears from that. Now with the inputs, we need the let's see, forget what the manual override does. Now we need this one actually needs to know what the throttle is, so we read the throttle. It needs to know what the engine RPS is, as always. That's just how it basically works. RPS. And let's see, the ignition needs to know the ignition because it has to. That's a reset once again. I forget what the manual override is, right? Select. Oh yeah, that's right. If I were using the PRND controller, I could connect it to this, and that's how it would control the. That's how you'd be able to set specific gears on it, and that's what that is. Let's take a look at it. Now, what we do here, the trick with this one is it takes the throttle and it uses this formula right here. And this formula goes into this, which is used to adjust that, which then controls the... So basically, as the throttle increases, it adjusts the shift points based on the throttle. This is something the Snowrunner, and this would blow the minds if I actually explained this to the Snowrunner developers, because they have, I mean, it's been on transmissions for 50 years now, but they... So even though it was invented and widely used 50 years ago, they just don't have a clue. So basically, as the controller... So like if you have the throttle at halfway up, it behaves like you're just on a city driving. So it's basically in a fuel economy mode. But if you stomp on it, it'll go into high performance mode. And it'll even kick down the gear shifter just to make the thing move. So let's try this on the track. Let's back out of that. Back, spawn. Let's just try this sucker on the road. Show you what I mean here. So this has take off the brake. I'll be using manual. Using analog controls for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to country drive just to get it to upshift, and then I'm going to floor it, and it should downshift to get more power, and then shift up again once it reaches the RPM limit. So let's try this out. So we'll can't really see the shift lights there, so we're coming off the line. Okay, the clutch is engaging. Our clutch is engaged. So alright, there it shifted. Now, See, when I stomp on it, it downshifts, and then let's try that. Let's try that again. So we'll accelerate. All right, now we're in second gear. Confirm that second gear. Now I'm gonna punch it, and it kicks it back down into first gear just to give more torque. So it's basically it responds to the throttle. So if you're country driving, it's like, okay, we'll save fuel, keep the RPMs low. But if you need to stomp on it, or let's, yeah, all right, we're in third gear now, and I'll drop into second. So yeah, this is the high performance gearbox. It's like it's efficient when it needs to be, and it'll burn rubber when you want it to. So I don't use it too much because it's more complex. Okay, that's second gear, and then it goes to first gear and then second gear again, and now we're in third gear and running off the cliff. Whee! So that's the high performance gearbox there. It's a good unit. I mean, now you could. The math is a little bit tricky to explain. Now it's basically a linear it's just a line. It's just a linear function, and as the throttle comes in, that line becomes steeper, and it just shifts. It kicks the effect is the shift points become higher. So, all right, we're in second gear, moving down the highway, and then the shift points. Then I stomp on the throttle. The throttle increases the shift points, which now causes it to downshift into the lower gear because I just increased the shift point, and so I get a lot more. I'm back into the high performance one. This is a 4-speed version of the truck. It has roughly the same range as the 3-speed, and the advantages of adding more speeds to the truck does diminish. I have a very, very tricky drive on, very, very tricky gear ratios. As you can see, this thing is fast as hell. It's just much, much too fast for the game. It has 4 gears to shift to choose from. All right, that's in the 4th gear. Let's see if it actually walk. Let's see if we get it to walk through all the gears. All right, now we're back in 1st gear. All right, coming off the line. All right, there it shifted twice there in rapid succession. So that second gear didn't do much for us. It went almost immediately into 3rd gear, and let's see if I can get it to stay in. See if I can feather the throttle just right to get it to stay in 2nd gear. All right, we are in 2nd gear. All right, this is 2nd gear, or I think it's 2nd gear. Let's pull back all the way to see. Come on. All right, that's 1st gear. All right, 1st gear, 2nd gear. Third gear. We're running in 3rd gear at the moment. Very, very low RPMs. Very efficient fuel wise in 3rd gear. Let's even get it into 4th gear. All right, that's 4th gear, and we're flipped. Yeah. And here we have far too much speed for the game. Yeah, screw it. Oh, we're still good. So let's go back to base and take a look at what our... Yeah, let's see. Yeah, let's go this way. Come on. Come on, truck. You were working just a second ago. I don't know. Truck suddenly stopped working. Damage is off, so there shouldn't be any... Huh. Alright, screw it. Go back to base, take a look at... Come on. Alright, I'll just pull up another one of these trucks. The basic... I've not really covered the really basics of gearbox theory. In a nutshell, it's just a collection of levers. So either have a big lever which gives you a lot of force but a very little motion, or you have a very small lever which just basically passes it straight through without any exchange of force or motion. Let's see, this is a very strange gearbox. Let's see, this gearbox is pointing towards the axle. So this gearbox is a reduction gearbox, and it has 5 to 2 on the top and 9 to 5 on the bottom. Okay, strange. And this gearbox is pointed at the engine, and it's 1 to 1 on the top, 9 to 5 on the bottom. That is in top gear, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. In the first gear, it's 5 to 2, and then 1 to 1. So go on for bonus points, and give me a list of all the gear ratios that this transmission will produce. We have a standard 4-speed transmission down here, and just absolutely the same as the 3-speed. We have, again, 2 gearboxes, but 4 speeds. So that's kind of tricky. Let's look at the cute orange truck rebuild 2. That's what I call this. I think the original's by Wind or something like that, and I think I don't know. It was in the game files. I basically took just a mock-up of a truck from the game files, and then added all the running gear in to make it actually a working truck. The gear ratios, again, I'm using the original OG on gears in here. We have the gears are wedged right in between the fuel tanks. The fuel tanks are right next to the axle, and the engines are in the back. The ratios for this one are this is the reverser, 3 to 1, 1 to 1, and then the other gearbox is somewhere around here. I think that's the 2 to 1, 1 to 1, and then somewhere else around here is the actual. There is a alternate. There is a generator somewhere around here. I don't know whether that has a gearbox, but yeah, these are the two gearboxes, 3-to-1, the 2-to-1. So coming off the line, it's a 6-to-1 reduction, which gives it a monstrous amount of torque. And that's how it can pull 5,000 units of weight up a hill, and that's how it does it. And it's got a 6-to-1 reduction. And then at highway speeds, it's 1-to-1, and it can pop wheelies on the. See if we can pop a wheelie on this thing. Actually, I think the original version had a medium engine in it, and I decided that was just way too much. It was just way too much. So this is just a basic test of whether I can pop a wheelie in this thing. And yeah, wee. I don't know how much this video will actually help you. I mean, if clean up vehicle, yeah, let's look at a different application of transmissions altogether. And I do have an 8-speed transmission, but it's not. I mean, I guess if you want to do a fairly realistic truck simulation, and that's actually a pretty good unit there. But let's look at let's just look at a container ship here. Yeah, it's annoying to get on this thing. It's based on a workshop item, but I've like chopped and cut it, and it had like 50, like 20 large engines down in the engine room there, and I took all of that out, and I put in modular engines, so it's much nicer nicer system back here. So these are the controls. These controls on the left and right are the primary drive. This in the center here is the secondary power units. Now, if we go all the way down to the keel, let's see. There's. Huh. How did I have this rigged up? I'll have to swap that out for an let's swap that out for the other door. Camera close in there so I can raise door, slide. Yeah, let's just use sliding door. No reason to use electric down here. Yeah, let's save this. Alright, we'll go in here. Have to go up one deck. Open the hatch there. Get out of there. Close the hatch, drop down. Now the problem is each of these two generators, got two generators here, each of these produces 4,000 units of power, but the RPM range is only supposed to be up to from like about 3 to 9 RPS. So to throttle that much power, we use a variable load instead of a variable throttle. So we get, let's see if we get all the way down. What the hell's going on down here? Yeah, close. What the hell? All right, so we have the generators down here. We use these gearboxes to vary the load on the engine, and thus I'm gonna have to fix that later. But so we get back up here. We see my electronics package is all right. All right, that's the air to fuel and the fuel to air ratio controller. I showed that to you on my other video, auto clutch, because it's auto clutch, and we use a transmission to vary the load on the engines so that it works. Standard starter module, and then I use a repeater module because of the distance to the bridge. So take this thing out in the water, just open it up. The drive architecture is diesel electric, so and it actually uses. So it's what I mean by that is there's no battery. It's just diesel directly out to the propeller. Diesel drives a generator, which drives a motor, which goes directly to the propellers, and there's only just a small one. Let's see, get this thing moving. Yeah, let's floor it. Used for the drive motors down here, just two large drives directly to two large the huge propellers, and once again, yeah, let's just go down there and just take a look and see how much power this thing's actually putting out. Shoot, I'm down too far. Yeah, it's on this deck. Yeah, I should. If I were working on this ship more, I'd put more displays on the bridge and get more data out of it. I know. Come on. What in unholy hell? I have to put ramps down here to get over this stupid sill. Now we can see that. It's can't quite see the generators though. That is unbelievable. I'm gonna have to raise the floor in here just to get over this stupid sill. I think this is directly on the keel. Let's just do that. This is wrong. What do I have going on down here? Just centering on the back again. What the heck do I have going on down here? It's just okay. That is actually the hull. It's right on the hull. So to solve this, they have to just spam in. I don't want to change the weight back here. I mean, its tail section's already heavy enough as it is. The hatch to open on that side. Close that up. Paint it an ugly color. The hatch should be paint. Should be yellow. Paint that yellow because it's an important thing. Let's put the handle orange. Yeah, use that. That's good. That's appropriate for something that you can fall down into. You want it high visibility. So that's correct. And then the compartment looks just fine. Let's save this. I don't know why this turned into a work session instead of a discussion of gearboxes, but the basic point remains that gearboxes have a lot of uses, and there are a lot of good applications for using them. And as long as you don't get too stupid with the logic, they're great, and they perfect. So lesson the number one to take away from this is don't be stupid with the gearboxes. Just nice, simple, sensible controller. Full power. Let's take a final look at what. Engine room's this way. Yeah, these are. That's the cooler solution. 17. You see, once again, the clutches on these things are slipping. Like here, input 9.6 RPS. Clutch is slipping about 50%, and the crankshaft is at 17 RPS. This clutch is garbage. About 50% of the power coming out of the engine is being lost in that clutch, and there's some of the builds fix it, but I think there are some idiots on the some of the versions of the game I've seen, the clutch works. I'm happy. But then some idiot on the forums complains to developers, oh, my thing won't spin up anymore because I'm an idiot. and then then the developers change it back. Yeah, what's yeah, that's one of the thrusters. The thing has thrusters on it to help it turn. Yeah, I mean, they're generating almost 4,000 units of power even with the clutch slippage. So that's winning design. Let's see if I can get all the way out of here. I think some of the older versions of the ship I couldn't. The thing is, basically the entire keel of the ship is filled with fuel, so I've like, it'll run for hours and hours and hours without running into fuel issues. Whee! Better get these goddamn hatches closed. So you can see the thrusters work just fine. That's actually is original to the ship, and like I think when I gutted all the electronics on the ship, they stopped working. Then I found that out. I plugged them back in, and they're fine. They're just fine. But anyway, let's go find a bridge to crash into. Time to quit.